Hey guys, it's Jen B with some more makeup magic. I just wanted to share this look with you. Clearly it's Miss Piggy inspired. I had a lot of fun doing this look and I hope you guys enjoy it. Alright, we're going to go ahead and start with foundation primer first, and this is just Victoria's Secret Pro foundation. I'm just going to apply this all over. Just let it sink into the skin. Down the neck. Alright, next I'm going to take my Tim 2 concealer wheel and I'm just going to use the peachier shade right here and just kind of go under my under eye circles before I go ahead and airbrush the foundation on. We're just going to conceal under the eyes just to cover up any darkness. Since we're doing Miss Piggy, this is going to be quite a heavy look. But I'm actually going to be making my skin a little bit tanner than I am, so that's why I decided to airbrush, because I'm going to go for a bigger change. Alright, so we've kind of got that. Alright, so I ended up going back over my face with a little bit more Sweetheart because it was coming off pretty orange on camera. This is the nose that I used last year, so it was already pre-painted, so I'm just going to kind of spray paint my piece with a little bit of Sweetheart to see if I can get it to be a little bit paler. It is just a little worn. I think it must have been tanner, or maybe I had just gotten an airbrush tan. So we're just going to kind of be spray painting our piece a little bit. I'm just kind of holding it up to see if we have a pretty good match. I think that looks pretty good. So just kind of spray in small circles around your face. And you see how I'm holding my gun about, I would say 6 inches, 4 to 6 inches away. You're just kind of gently making small circles. And I'm doing my chest and my neck. The good thing about airbrush foundation is it will be on all night. You don't have to worry about anything coming off. Alright, so I think that's good with foundation. I think the nose matches up pretty well. Now this is a prosthetic nose foam latex that I ordered online. I don't remember the website that I got it from. If I can find the receipt, I'll post that. I think if you just do a Google search though, you can pretty much find these. You want to get ones that have a nice thin edge. That way whenever you glue it down with your Prosaide or your spirit gum, your edges will be pretty seamless. So I think that's a pretty good color match. So we'll go ahead and move on to eyes. I'm going to go in over my eyes with the NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk. Now I like to do this whenever I'm putting on vibrant eyeshadows because it just gives things a good foundation to stick, and you really get the true color payoff whenever you put white down over whatever color you're doing. So if you're doing a bright pink or purple, if you put a white base down, your shadow will be a lot more vibrant. So I'm just going to kind of work that in with my finger. This acts like a primer too for your eyelids. So I want to get it pretty even, smooth it out. Nice white base. Alright. So I've done both of my eyes. I've got my white base down. I'm going to be using the Urban Decay Electric palette that just came out. I really like this palette. It's lots of bright colors. I like it because you could use it a lot for special effects type makeup. I don't know that you would use it for every day, but maybe you would. Now some of these colors aren't recommended to use around the eyes and the mouth, and I'm assuming it's probably the pink and the blues because it stains, but I'm going to break the rules and I'm going to use it on my eyes. So I'm going to go in with Savage, which is this bright pink color here, right here, on the lid. I think I'm going to do pink, purple, and silver on the eyes. Okay, and I'm going to go in with my Sigma brush, my E59, and I'm just going to put it in Savage, and I'm just going to tap off the excess. And I'm just going to pat that on my lower lid. I really want color payoff, so that's why I'm kind of packing instead of wiping. If you want intense color payoff, you just need to pat your eyeshadow on. So we're just going to kind of keep that in the middle of the lid. A bit more. Pretty bright though. Of course it'll probably stain my eyes pink for a day or two. Alright, so I've got my pink on both eyes. Next I'm going to take my Sigma E57, which is a short shader brush, and I'm going to go in with the color Urban, and I'm going to be putting that in the crease. I'm going to kind of go out at a V shape kind of make it more of a winged look, tap off your excess. And I'm just going to start applying it at an angle in the corner to just kind of set a guideline for the shape I want to use. And then I'm just going to bring that into the crease. So I'm almost kind of creating a V right on top of that pink color. And since this is Miss Piggy, you know, I don't want to blend it out too much. I kind of want to leave it a little harsh, a little dramatic. So I'm going to kind of get my general shape. Put on my purple. I'm going to bring that up quite high past my crease. See, I've kind of created a nice little V shape in the corner. Okay, next I'm going to take my Sigma E44, and this is a blending brush. And I'm just going to kind of do windshield wiper motions across that purple to kind of soften the line out more. Just blending. And I don't really want to take away too much from the intensity of the purple. I'm just kind of softening the line at the top. So I'm just doing windshield wiper motions to kind of soften. Like I said, I want this to be kind of unblended. Let me come in across this purple a little bit to soften that line. Okay. Alright, next I'm going to take my Sigma E20 brush and I'm just going to dip it in the color Revolt. And I'm just going to take this silver at the very top of my brow bone and kind of soften out that line a little bit more. Okay. I'm going to go and add a little bit of silver glitter on the very corner of my eyes right here. And to do that, I'm going to take my Graftobian glitter glue and my Ben Nye Sparklers in MD4 Silver. So you're just going to take your glitter glue, and it already comes with a little brush. And when I'm working with glitter, I kind of just like to use a cotton ball or something that's not going to ruin my brushes, because once you get glitter on something, you can't get it off. So I'm just going to take my glitter glue. I'm going to kind of dip it in and dab off the excess. You don't want it to be really wet when you put it on. And I'm just going to set it right in the corner of my eye and brush it just where I want the glitter. And I'm only going on the inside corner with the glitter. I don't want to cover up the pink I just did. Okay, I'm going to let that dry for a second. Alright, so I poured my glitter just in the top of the dish, and I found this little disposable lip brush. So I'm just going to dip the brush in the glitter. And I'm just going to dab it on top of my glitter glue. And with this, since you're doing Miss Piggy look, if you get any fallout, a little bit of glitter on your face won't hurt. I mean, you are Miss Piggy, right? So I'm just going to dab it where I put my glitter glue. I'm going to kind of get a little bit lighter as I get towards the outer part of my eye, because I kind of want it to fade off, almost like a gradient. So I'm just going to go really heavy on the inner part of my eye, and then just kind of lightly disperse it as I get towards the out. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and pencil in my eyebrows. I'm actually just going to be using the Urban Decay Naked Basics palette in the color Faint, and just an angled brush. This is just from an art store. Nothing. We're going to go ahead and line. I'm going to be using the TG Black Perfect eyeliner. I'm going to line my upper waterline and my lower lash line. So I'm going to kind of tight line up at the top, because I don't want to see any of my eyelid color. Okay, so I've already lined the upper lid on this eye. I'm going to go ahead and do this eye. I'm going to be using the Laura Mercier Cake Liner. I just feel like this gives me a little bit more control instead of trying to use a pencil. You just wet your brush, and this is just an art brush. It's a little skinny eyeliner brush. And I'm going to do just a slight wing on the outside. Just going to kind of get my shape, and then I'm just going to go all the way across. Got the liner done. I'm going to go back in with my E20 shader from Sigma with the color Urban. And I'm just going to push it along my lash line underneath. Just to kind of incorporate some of the purple and kind of make it a little smokier. So I did pop on some Red Cherry No. 5 eyelashes. I'm going to go ahead and put some mascara on. And this is just, what is this, Monster Lash mascara? I think I got it at Sally's. It's not my favorite, but it's here. And I'm just going to kind of color my own lashes underneath to make them blend in with the artificial. I'm going to go ahead and pop on some blush. I'm going to be using the Coastal Scents 10 Blush Palette. And we're going to go for something quite pink. So we'll start off with this shade right here. And kind of put it on pretty heavy. Just kind of on the apples of your cheeks. Okay, I'm actually going to go ahead and pop in some of this brighter pink too because I want it to be a little bit brighter. Tap off my excess. Yeah, that's better. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and put on the nose. And like I said, I used this nose last Halloween, so it's already painted. And since I already did, normally I would do my prosthetic first, but I didn't want to wear it while I was doing the rest of the makeup. So I'm gonna take a little bit of 99% alcohol and I'm just gonna clean a line around where I'm gonna glue the piece. So I'm just gonna clean around where the glue's gonna go. So that way the prosthetic adhesive will have something nice and clean to stick to. I just didn't want to wear the piece the whole time I was filming the video, so I'm just going to go ahead and clean that up. Just where the glue is going to go. It doesn't matter if you have foundation there because the glue's not going to be touching that. I'm just going to kind of clean up where I'm going to be putting my Prosaide. And if I need to touch anything up after I put the piece on, I could do that. All right. So I'm going to be using the Prosaide, just right here, and this is by Graftobian also. And with this, you definitely want to apply it with something disposable because it's going to get sticky and ruined, so don't put it on with a brush. So we're just going to kind of see where the nose fits. And you're basically just going to take your Prosaide on your piece, on the underneath, and brush the sides and place it on. And it will take a little bit, so I'm taking my Prosaide and my prosthetic piece, my foam latex, and I'm just going to brush the outer edges of it. It is a little bit rumpled. I don't know if you can see in this corner over here. Like I said, I did wear it last year, and I think when I took it off, I probably should have powdered the edges, but I didn't. Alright, so I'm just going to kind of guesstimate where to put my Prosaide around my face. Just kind of where I took the 99 and kind of clean. I'm just going to dab some Prosaide. Now you can use spirit gum, but I feel like Prosaide is a lot stronger than the spirit gum. Especially since this is a piece around your mouth. I know when I wore it for Halloween and I was drinking and talking, I was like, please don't let my nose fall off the whole night. It didn't, but Prosaide is just a little bit stronger than spirit gum. And usually you have to order Prosaide. I don't know if like Party City and places like that have it. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and place our nose on. Smooth the edges when you place it on. Like I said at the top, I kind of had a little rumple, so it's probably not going to go on super smooth. just smoothing the edges out. I'm just kind of pressing my edges down. You can see where I put Prosaide where I didn't need it. I'm just going to go back with some Prosaide remover, what is this called, and take that off. It feels like it's pretty good and stuck. And if you can see the inside of my nostrils, I know last year when I wore it and I painted, I went ahead and I think I just put pink eyeshadow in the center just to give it some dimension. And I also, if you can see on the ridges, I went in with a little bit of a darker color and kind of filled that in, kind of shaded it so that it looked a little more realistic. Alright, so what I'm going to do to kind of blend these edges out a little bit more, because they're still kind of visible, is I'm going to take a little bit of liquid latex and just pat it on the edge. That'll kind of seal the edge too. Alright, so I've just taken a little bit of Mayron liquid latex and poured it in a bowl. I'm going to be using just a Q-tip and I'm just going to kind of seal the edges. And you don't want to go with too much latex, just a little bit's all you need. I'm just going to go around the piece and just kind of dab it on my edges. Side. And I just switch to the pointed side. Okay, so while the latex is drying, I'm going to go ahead and do my lips. You do kind of have to be careful when you have a piece on your nose not to make your lips in too odd of shapes while the glue is drying. Because anything around your mouth and your nose, you're going to have a tendency to stretch it and you can kind of take the adhesive off. So just be careful when you're putting on your lips not to make too many exaggerated facial expressions. So we're going to do the lipstick. After this dries, we're going to go ahead and powder it, and I'll probably go back over it with another light coat of the airbrush foundation. And for the lips today, I'm going to be using NYX in Beauty Queen, and I'm going to go back over it with a MAC Wonder Woman lip gloss. And I think this is, what is this called? Athena's Kiss. Now they don't have this anymore, but any pink or purple lipsticks, whatever you choose would be fine. I'm gonna go back with my gloss. This is like the biggest applicator I've ever seen. I love this color, but I don't know why anybody would need a wand this big. Anyways, I'm glad they don't do it anymore. Okay, so the latex is dried. And I did just powder it. I just took some Cover FX setting powder over the top of the liquid latex with my finger. I just kind of dabbed it on. And that kind of takes the stickiness of the latex away. I'm just going back in with my airbrush system and I'm just going to go back over the very edges with a very light stream of color just to kind of blend. You can see I've already done that side. And the latex does dry clear, but I feel like you have to go back in with your foundation and kind of smooth it. And if you don't have an airbrush, you can use regular foundation. I'm kind of going back over my lip where I wiped some of my makeup off earlier. I'm just kind of recoloring the sides of the nose. Like I said, it was previously colored. Just gonna go back over the nose. And I'm just going back in with my Urban Decay, the electric palette in that color, Savage, the hot pink again. I'm just gonna kind of go around the nostrils a little bit, just so you can see them a little bit better. Okay. All that's really left to do, I'm just going to take a little bit of translucent setting powder And I'm just gonna kind of dust over everything just to kind of lock everything. Get some of the excess glitter off, but I kind of like the glitter, honestly. But see, you get a pretty seamless blend with the nose. Like I said, this has been used twice, so some of the edges are kind of wonky, but you can definitely reuse the pieces if you take them off properly and don't just tear them off like I did. Alright, so I'm just going to pop on a wig and some accessories and I'll show you the finished look.